Aiman here. Okay, so looking at the S&P 500, the index managed to close higher at 6,345 points, well above the 6,300 support level. Also, the index are now trading above all the average, showing that near-term momentum remains bullish. Right. Also, market sentiment right now seems a bit well. You see, recently one of the biggest chip company, AMD, posted results that missed estimates. However, yesterday, US has announced on the Apple's 100 billion investment that has uplifted the market. Also, following to this news, Nasdaq also underwent similar positive price action, adding 296 points higher. Right. So, looking at the market dynamics in the US, right? So, referring to this heat map, uh, the tech sector still a strong sector with a high trading volume and sentiment are positive on the riding on the Apple 100 billion commitment to US. So for context, right, if you see here, uh, the way we look at the volume is actually referring to the size of the sector block right here. Okay, so looking at our US trading stocks, US trading stocks that we have published overnight, we have Newmont Corp, stock code NEM. So the stock has a breakout above the 65 level on strong volume. So if the bullish momentum to hike further, we can expect it to test the next resistance at 70 US dollar level before it climb higher towards the 75 US dollar level. Now, if the momentum reverse and form a new lower low, do mark at 60 US dollar level as the closest support level, as it could indicate a possible change of trend aligned with the SMA crossover. Right, next we have uh, Ramaco, stock code METC. So if you see here that the stock extended its rebound to climb higher and break above the 23 US dollar level. Now, if the price continue to breach higher, we might see that the stock to touch the 25 level, and it might propel or travel higher towards the $28 level. So a reverse below the $20 will open the door for lower uh, corrective action. Right. As of the Hang Seng Index Futures HSIF, so yesterday the index close was indecisive, halting the momentum to continue following the recent rebound. Also, yesterday's session saw that the Hang Seng Index futures to close slightly lower at 24,833 points. So if you read the news recently, right, where China's manufacturing data has shown a worse than expected shrink due to the slower growth, as well as the ongoing, I would say, never-ending US-China trade issue. So from here, we expect that the HSIF to consolidate in the couples of sessions ahead, as long as the index is well above the 23,000 points level, and we maintain our positive trading bias at this juncture. So for the WTI crude oil futures underwent a decline yesterday. Well, the session is losing 81 cent to close just slightly above the 64 US dollar level. Also after rejecting the 70 US dollar level. Also the range now has become a little bit wider at the moment. So so far for the oil market right now, are still looking towards the downside. I think most of us know already. OPEC Plus have agreed to to for another plan of output hike in coupled with the Trump threatens countries that purchase oil from Russia to impose additional tariff, which still remain to be uncertain. So we expect the WTI oil futures to continue its selling pressure amid the heightened uncertainty on this sanction. So well, let's see if this WTI futures able to breach lower and could potentially travel to at least below 60 US dollar level. All right, back home, looking at our FKLI index. So it closed higher on Wednesday session to close at 1543 point level after adding 3.5 points. Well, if we monitor the charts closely, right? The FKLI are now heading towards the key level of 1550 points to retest this level. So so far looking at the FKLI sentiment for Malaysia market are still on the positive side. So the renewed interest on the market has helped to cushion market lower. Also, banking stocks right now to remain at the eye of the investors, potentially looking at the dividend declaration. Right. So okay. So the market right now continue to be selective in buying across the board with some names still pending breakout. So we have updated the watch list, adding Powerwell in. All right. So this is our watch list for today. Okay. So just to share with you. So if you have no idea which stock to look at, right? So just this is Sunread. So the red line is actually the Bursa REIT index performance, and if you take a look at Sunread now, I believe uh, at the current juncture, the pullback is still healthy pullback, in which it could potentially find support at 2.20 before it could rebound higher to retest the 2 ringgit and 30 resistance level. Also, if you see the stock is quite lagged from the index movement. All right, so this is the first one, and the second one that I would like to show is actually Binastra. So we have Binastra here. Uh, Again, the red line is actually the construction index, Bursa construction index. So to me, we saw that Binastra is also a laggard from its index, where we think that technical rebound is likely to happen in a few sessions ahead. As I mean, as it as it is pulled back at its 50 to 61% Fibonacci retracement level. So if you believe that the stock to follow its index, so keep this in your watch list as well, right? So today we have for our Malaysia trading stocks, we have Powerwell holding. So the stock has experienced a bullish breakout at 60 cent, supported by its strong trading volume. So we expect that the momentum to strengthen and the stock able to climb further to test the next resistance at 64 cent level, followed by 68 cent level. So if it happened to break up below 56 cent level and form a new low, this could indicate a near-term pullback in sessions ahead. Right. So next we have UWC. So the stock yesterday has breached above the resistance of 2.50 ringgit, on a strong trading volume. So should the bullish momentum hold and continue to trend higher in the coming session, the counter potentially testing the next resistance at 2 ringgit and 65 cent, followed by 2 ringgit and 80 cent level. So if it dropped below 2 ringgit and 35 cent level, this would open the door for further correction phase. Right, so looking at the FCPO, it had it pulled back slightly after being rejected from the immediate resistance at 4,300 level. So yesterday's close was slightly lower at 4,267 ringgit. So the market are looking forward for the MPOB data next week, waiting for the demand and supply for FCPO. So at this juncture, we still remain positive bias on our report with stop losses at 4,100 ringgit amid strengthening bullish setup. Right, so I think that's all I have for today, and I pass the floor to Vanessa. Happy trading, everyone.
Thank you, Aiman. Good morning, everyone. I'm Vanessa from RHB Warrant. So, WCT has been very active the past week. So today, if that you are also bullish on WCT's performance. All right, so I'm going to just share with you. So it's not a buy or sell call. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how do you usually use effective gearing, sensitivity, and all to determine which warrants you should go into. This is a snapshot yesterday on WCT and their warrants, and its warrants. So it's really hard to determine which is the most liquid and also which is the best WCT warrants from this screen. Am I right? So if you are a TradeSmart, RHB TradeSmart user, you'll be able to find the warrants button on top, okay, on your screen. Then you can just click into it and then you will go to the RHB Warrant website. Okay, so this is the active WCT warrants yesterday. So you will see from C38 to C42, all these warrants issued by different issuers. All right, so RHB WCT C38 and WCT C41, they have very different specifications. All right, so earlier last week, we actually see slightly more interest from investors in WCT C38. Very likely is due to a low premium. All right, and while WCT C41 also got people buy, but but then compared to C38, it's less. But however, this week there's actually more interest in C41 for WCT core warrants. Okay, so for these two, besides from C41, it has a longer expiry date. The rest is like they look the same. Okay, so for me, I would definitely, if you are one of the bullish investors, then I will actually recommend you to look at C41 instead. Besides from longer expiry date, which means that you have more time value in the warrant price itself. All right, so despite there's a 14.1% premium, so that's not really important when you're holding it short term. Okay, but in this case, you see yesterday's price, when I do this, the underlying bid means that the share price was 84.5 cents, while the exercise price is 78 cents. So which means that this warrant is already in the money. So when it's in the money, it's actually more sensitive. Okay, so you will see the sensitivity is at around 3 ticks, and also the gearing is quite decent at 3 times. Right? It's not that C38 is not good, but then if you actually knows how to use RHB, I mean the live matrix, right? You'll be able to see the turning point. They're actually very close because both are, I think we are on the same screen. So you will see 38 and 41, they have very similar turning point. And then, but one thing that you need to note is that the absolute price for these two warrants. So for 41, it's cheaper, I would say 1 cent cheaper, while this one is like 10.5 cents, and this is 9.5 cents. So in terms of 1 tick movement, even though it's like with 3 ticks of sensitivity, you will actually notice a better effective gearing, and it actually translates into a better gain percentage. All right. But on the other hand, do note that this is actually a double-edged sword. So if it drops, then you will see WCT C41 will drop slightly more than C38. So which also applies to any other warrants. So today, if you are looking if you have a bearish view on the technology sector and you are currently holding any of the net, for example, Netgate, any of the warrants. So do remember to use your strategy. It's actually a defense strategy that you set a stop loss and also to monitor the warrants and also the share price very closely. All right. So in this case, when you see Netgate CM, the effective gearing is at about 3 times. Netgate CK is at about 9 times. Then the 1% drop in Netgate NationGate mother share will actually cause a very, very high drop in percentage for these two warrants. Okay, so this is how do you actually use the RHB warrant search tool. If you are still keen on, if you are still interested in some of the warrants like ITMAX, Penta, and so forth, then you can definitely use this to actually gauge your entry and exit point. Just click onto the warrant details and then you'll be able to see the metrics. All right, so that's all from me. Oh, before that, right? Since everyone is on Facebook Live right now, if you are keen or if you have any interest that you wish to join any of our warrants webinar, do put in the comments. All right, so that I can actually notice or your on your interest, so that when we have any webinars, we will be able to get the invitation. All right, so upcoming there's this webinar in collaboration with Bursa Malaysia that falls on 18 August. It's actually curated for Mandarin investors, Mandarin speaking investors, that I will be sending out the invitation very shortly. All right, so I'll pass to Meng Hong. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa. So this is on Pentamaster's first half results. Now, the first half results came in broadly within expectations. Core earnings of 30.4 million, which was down 30% year on year, at about 40% of ours and Street estimates. We expect a stronger second half underpinned by project deliveries, improving order book, as well as some emerging growth drivers. Now, note that we exclude 1.7 million of delisting exercise of Penta Hong Kong, as well as 4.3 million in the accelerated ESS charges, as well as some unrealized forex loss and fair value gains and losses in our core profit recognitions. Now, if you look at the margin side, it's EBITDA margin down slightly, pressured by lower revenue, higher costs, as well as some adverse, USD MYR exchange rate impact. Now, group revenue fell 19% year on year to 276.5 million, largely dragged by a sharp contraction in the factory automation solutions division. Now, this is mainly due to medical segments project deliveries were slow in terms of timing difference, as well as some order conversions. Now, on a brighter note, the ATE segment, which is the automated test equipment, saw a strong 25% year-on-year rebound in revenue to 178.5 million. Now, these are driven by some upticks in orders for test handlers, especially for semiconductor customers. Now, overall, we are seeing a slower year for FAS segments. I think this year should probably make up about 30% of the full year revenue for FY25, coming off from 60% kind of range from FY24. However, we do see a recovery in ATE to cushion this impact, underpinned by the recovery in the semiconductor sectors with improved orders from Singapore, Chinese, European, as well as Japanese OSAT players. Now, management also knows that most of the customers have gradually resumed their capex planning in the next gen of test handling and burn-in systems, especially in the logic and power subsegments. Now, they foresee, the stronger orders or PO that, they have received over the past months and to sustain in the second half. However, some of the order conversions, into revenue will only realize in first quarter of 2026. Now, we raised our target price for the stocks to 4.25 ringgit. It was 3.72 ringgit. This is basically after we roll forward our valuation base here to FY26 now. Based on unchanged 33 times, FY26 PE, which is at about, plus 0.5 times standard deviation above the 5-year means. No major change in our earnings except for some minor tweak of 1 to 3% post-annual report review. We maintain a buy on the stock as we continue to like, this name for the exposure to the recovering, ATE segments, and also, its group's, capability to pivot to, the next generation technology growth trend. Now, maintain buy on the stocks, target price to 4.25 ringgit. Now, thank you for joining us this morning. I think that's all from us today. We will see you again tomorrow.